the show where disobedience is rewarded. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Dragon Prince Season 5, Episode 4. And yeah, we're heading to the library. We've got a new team. Aunt Amaya's coming with us. We have the nerdy little bookworm coming with us. And it's gonna be a dangerous trip. Meanwhile, Ezrin is rallying the forces, and Viren is having fever dreams, I guess. Don't quite know where this is all going. Don't quite know how this season is going to end. It's only 9 episodes as they have been, so I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll see. So let's just get into this. I wish I had more to say, but I just don't. Let's see what this episode has in store. Cutting in here real quick to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions with 2 on Wednesday. We also have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. I do pre-record them during the week, but I upload them on the weekend. And don't forget all the gaming content we have both on this channel and the Secondary Princess of Gaming channel. We have Horizon Forbidden West every other day and Baldur's Gate 3 every single day on this channel, while we also have Nier Automata every Saturday on the other. And don't forget to click the link down in the description below to get to today's reaction. I redirected just due to copyright reasons. And finally, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you want to see more awesome content such as this. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get on to the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers, not spiders. We'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. I hope we don't begin with spiders. Okay, so a quick correction here. I said in the reaction that I thought like Sol Regum or Regum, however it's pronounced, I thought he was dead. Like I thought like there was something about he had died, like the King of the Dragons had died previously. I might be thinking of a different dragon. I did look it up without spoilers, of course. But for a previous season, we did see him. He was the dragon that was guarding the Bordier. The Bordier. I cannot speak today. First spiders, now Bordier? He was the dragon guarding the border to Zadia. The one that Callum and Rayla and them came across. We have seen him before. There was kind of that fight with him. But I think that was the last time we've seen or even really heard much about him. So that was like 2-3 seasons ago. I think it was season 3. But yeah, we had seen him before. I just had forgotten about that because it's been a while. I like how the ending of this episode, after, making us anxious because of the danger of the shadow beasts and all. I like how the ending not only soothes our fear about Amaya and Corvus's safety, but also it calls back to earlier in the episode, because we saw that this book drop, this really strong metal book drop, was set up. And we had the setup that what's their face? I can't remember the name. I'm sorry. Would used to hide in there to read overnight and stuff because of their love of books. So that was set up so that at the end, Amaya knew to go in there. Amaya knew that since Corvus was, backed up right to it, they could get in there and stay safe from the shadow beasts. So not only do we have that episodic continuity, but we also have just the relief of knowing that they're safe and they will survive. So that's good. That's good. They might be like out of action. They might be out of like the episodes for maybe even the rest of the season for all we know. But we know they'll be back. I'm like almost 100% confident they'll be fine. So with that, we now have Ezran and Callum's parties joining together. They've joined together and we have a goal. We're going to this place that houses this sword that is said to be the only way to kill a Star Touch elf. But the problem is it wasn't quite clear. Like, it was the only thing they could find, and honestly, the only, like, kind of hints in order to kill a Star Touch elf. But it wasn't entirely clear that it killed it, because it was, like, it kind of made it seem like it could maybe be erased from existence or something else. So I'm thinking it's probably not going to be as simple as Callum is thinking here. However, the same location has the possibility of also helping Rayla's parents and mentor, reviving them from the soul coins and everything. So it's a very important place for our heroes to be going next. And we've got like a combined a combined force now, having Ezran's group joining them. It's going to be interesting to see what comes of all of that. Meanwhile, we have Janai's brother, I can't remember his name right now, trying to get Sol Regum to like come back and take over again and, you know, just be the leader of Zadia so that they can restore the Sunfire Elves and Zadia as a whole to its glory. Because the entire fraternizing with humans and stuff is something that he does not like. And this other guy, I don't remember if his name was ever even mentioned. This other Sunfire Elf who's helping him, he seems to have the same kind of beliefs and ideologies. They're both basically fuckwads. But ironically enough, I like them so much more as villains than Viren. Like, Viren, don't get me wrong, Viren is a great hateable villain, but the problem is they're trying to give him more depth and trying to develop him and make him more sympathetic, or at the very least understanding, and it's not working in my opinion, to the point where it's like they're just failing in garnering any level of sympathy, and I just would rather see him dead. With these two, it's like, yeah, I think it would be better if they were dead. I think that it would be better for everyone. But I like the amount of depth they already have, because while you don't agree with their point of view on things, you understand why it exists. You get why they think this way. And although it's terrible and it's just hateful bigotry and shit, at least there's depth to it. They're not just, evil pieces of shit like Viren. And this episode didn't even fucking have Viren. Like, that entire side of things just was not in this episode at all. Viren, Claudia, like, that wasn't in this episode. I'm actually really surprised about that, but also I kind of get it, because we didn't see Janai in this episode either. It was almost entirely focused on the bookery, which makes sense. having the reveal of Sol Regum and having the Sunfire Rebels, I'll call them, having them there, like they had a very small part compared to everything else in this episode. So I don't mind that, but most of this was focused on the book read, which makes sense. I also really like Amaya helping Rayla, just kind of come to terms with what she did to Callum, even if it wasn't intentional, even if the pain she caused Callum was absolutely not intentional. She still had to come to realize that she did cause him pain, and that she needed to make right on that. That she needed to stop trying to do things on her own, open up to others, trust them more, and learn to be stronger together with those she cares about. And we see her put that into action right away by opening up to Callum about her parents and what's his face? I can't think of the name right now. She said it, I just don't remember it. I'm bad at this. But yeah, it's a good way to show that did get to her, that she did take that to heart. It's a good way to show that right away. And I'm glad they showed it right away instead of holding off on it, because it not only shows that she did take that to heart, but a lot of times that kind of thing, when someone learns a lesson, a lot of times in shows, it does take an episode or two for us to actually see them, do something with what they learned. And I always feel like there's opportunities for them to have done something before that they don't capitalize on. And it just feels more like believable if they, acted on it quicker. At least from my experience, when I learn something in real life, I try to put that into practice right away, because it helps me, actually internalize it, to put that into practice sooner rather than later. If I hold off on it, if I procrastinate, it's not going to be as internalized. I'm not going to have that just in my mind as I move forward. So I think this is a better way to handle it here. I don't remember if in the last episode Ezra and them were heading this way, if they said they were going to be heading this way. Because them coming in to save the day at the library was really surprising to me. When I saw the Shadow of the Dragon, my first thought was Az, but it's then it's the Queen, and it's still the same party that would be the case for. But it's wait, why are they here? How are they here? How did they know that Callum and them would be here? I wonder if we're going to get information on that next episode, or if I'm just forgetting something from last episode, which is always possible knowing me. If I'm forgetting something, let me know. If it hasn't been revealed yet, do not spoil me on that. But that did catch me. Honestly, that caught me more off guard than Sol Regum, weirdly enough. When I saw Sol Regum, I'm oh, hey. with them, it's I'm just the cogs are turning in my head when I see them. I'm what? I don't think I vocalized that really well during the reaction, but it's I was really confused. I was happy to see them and glad they came in. And so I kind of just went with it, but I was trying to figure out why they were just suddenly there. And it's interesting that one member of both parties are the ones left behind. Amaya and Corvus, who obviously have the connection to each other anyway. But we have Amaya, who is with Callum's party at the moment, and Corvus, who is with Ezrin's. I just think it's an interesting decision to have one of each party leave the party as the two come together. That's just a really interesting decision. Um, it just feels very balanced, I guess you could say. Um, but yeah, it's good thing that we know they're fine. And I'm so glad I rewound at that one point, by the way, speaking of knowing they're fine. Because when this we first saw the Shadow Beast when they were opening the doors to the library, I genuinely thought the bookish nerd, I don't remember their name, and the interpreter guy whose name I also don't remember because I am really bad with names. But I genuinely thought that was like them dead there because it went by pretty quick. That shot of like the beast eating went by really quick, and then it showed it again very briefly, and I was trying to see it's like what was going on there, but I didn't catch it in time, and so I that's why I rewound a little bit. Luckily, they did get away. They did get away in time. It was the horse that was left for the others that was being eaten. I feel bad for the horse, but at least it wasn't our friends who were being eaten, you know? That's something I can take a lot of solace in. Because that would have been excessively dark. Like, that probably would have been the darkest thing in this series so far. And this series has had plenty of dark content. But to just open the door and see them, like, dead, being eaten by this shadow beast would be, like, fucking dark as hell. It would be kind of out of nowhere, too. It'd just be insane. But I'm glad that wasn't the case. Um, so this went pretty much how I thought it was going to be for the most part. I mean, we knew that they were going to come in conflict with shadow beasts. Like that was obvious. It there were more shadow beasts than I thought. That was a surprise. And I wasn't necessarily expecting anyone to be left behind. There was a point when they were doing the fight where I mentioned that I'm like thinking like, oh, is Amaya gonna get scratched and she's gonna be infected? They're gonna have to figure out a way to heal her before they can continue on their world saving journey. That's what I was thinking was going to happen in the end, but no. Luckily it didn't. And I started thinking, like I even voiced this in the reaction. I'm like, wait, would there be a cure? There probably wouldn't be a cure. It's like not something you can figure out how to fix. They didn't. I don't think they said how quick the infection spreads. They just mentioned that even a little scratch will cause it. So I don't know if there would be any way of doing that. Would it be like the rules of some zombie media where it's like, oh, you get scratched on the hand, cut off the arm before it can infect the rest of your bloodstream? Would it be like that rules? Would that work? I genuinely don't know. I genuinely do not know. It's an interesting thought experiment, though. And obviously, again, if this is ever like gone into, do not tell me. Do not tell me, and don't even tell me if it is gone into, because that's something that I would want to be like surprised by. Um, but yeah, so this definitely feels like kind of a turning point in the season. It feels like it's leading towards the next stage of our operation because we had heard about the library, I think, in the first episode of this season, the bookery. So it feels like this was like our first major, um, our first major stop along the path for where this is going to go right now. And so now they have a new goal, and that's probably where it's going to work to for the end of the season. They're probably not going to get there until like the final couple episodes, which there's only like 5 more episodes left in the season, but still, point still stands. Um, I guess we'll see what happens next as this continues. So thank you, as always, for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts. And for now, I guess I will see you at the next one. I'm Connie. I'm signing off. See y'all next time.